We're already getting legit trade rumors from around the NBA. And this ain't from some random blog, actual reporters. Oh, think Giannis and Jimmy Butler trades are overblown just for clicks? Yeah, right. Remember, we heard so many whispers about Karl Anthony Towns or Julius Randle, then bam, out of nowhere, a Shams bomb. That will happen again because there's a ton of new smoke on trades. So The Athletic wrote a piece, and at the top is Jonathan Kuminga. Why? Because the Warriors did not extend his rookie contract, and quote, rival executives believe the Warriors are more willing than ever to include Kuminga in a trade. But how bad would it feel if you knew that if it was up to your own team, you would be in a different uniform right now? They tried like hell to send him to Utah for Lauri Markkanen, but the Jazz wanted Brandon Podziemski instead. JK must be pissed. Plus, dude bet on himself and needs to ball out for a new contract, and instead, Steve Kerr benched him just a few games into this season. So what kind of trade are the Warriors exactly looking for? But I am so happy that you guys are loving MyFitFoods just as much as me. They're like a prepared meal service, but I have been through a lot of these companies, right? And MyFitFoods is hands down the best I've ever had. It is a combination of affordability, keeping me fit, and variety. I am loving the new Moroccan chicken and the orange chicken, two amazing flavors. But I literally eat these all day, every single day. They keep me fit, and I don't even have to think about what am I gonna eat that day. I'm full, so I don't splurge on junk food like I used to do. So if you want to try MyFitFoods, they are the best, my favorite. If you live in Houston, you can just walk right into a store, or they do overnight shipping to any of these cities in Texas or New Orleans, or they've got stores in Denver and Portland. And if you use my promo code AMHOOPS30, you get 30% off your order, get amazing meals, and help out the channel. Well, so far they are much better than expected this year. The Dubs have the #1 net rating in the early NBA. The big surprise is their defense. Amazing D at number 2. That's how they beat the Pelicans back to back without Steph Curry. But if the depth pieces are working right now, they need another star. You cannot make a deep playoff run without a legit second scorer. Like Jonathan Kuminga, Steve Kerr doesn't think so, or else he wouldn't be coming off the bench. So the Athletic said again, they are linked to Jimmy Butler. The only other option right now is kind of Giannis. I mean, Golden State is only going to move Kuminga for a big piece. But the second on their list is Austin Reeves. Speaking of surprise starts, the Lakers clearly have the top end talent to compete, but they need perimeter defense and depth. Their two best wing defenders are Max Christie and Gabe Vincent, both off the bench, way below other contenders in that department. But Reeves is a better trade chip than ever because he's off to a great statistical start, the secondary ball handler behind LeBron on a team-friendly deal. Remember, nobody swooped in to try to steal him in restricted free agency. So what do the Lakers need? Well, the worst team defending the paint is the Knicks, and that makes sense because their starting defensive center Mitchell Robinson got hurt. Then it's the Bulls. Nikola Vucevic is trash defending the rim, we always know that. Then the Wizards, obviously they suck. Then the Lakers, allowing 70% at the rim. Teams can get whatever they want. So LA is linked to Walker Kessler, a 7'1", two-way center who provides depth behind Anthony Davis. Now they could start him next to AD, but it would be kind of crazy to mess with AD's MVP level start. But they could close with Walker Kessler. But they need somebody like him because LeBron is obviously declining. They don't have too much more time to win another ring. Next, Jalen Green of the Rockets. Super surprising because they just extended him. But even Brian Windhorst admits that new deal was made to be traded. So far, he has been the Rockets' go-to guy on offense, improved on defense. But that's good because he needs to be really good for the Rockets to get one of the players on their list. Now, we will get to that list in a second, but Jalen's new deal is 2 years plus a player option. And it makes him hard to trade now because he is a poison pill with a trade kicker, but it's not impossible. Right now, the Rockets are one of the deepest teams in the NBA. Their young talent includes 7 players, 23 years old or younger. Oh, they could trade a talented Green and still have depth. So who is on this list of theirs? Well, it's ridiculous, but the Athletic reports Devin Booker, Zion Williamson, and Donovan Mitchell. I did not come up with this list. Do not scream at me in the comments. But what that list says, even though it's not realistic, is Houston doesn't want some old Jimmy Butler or Kevin Durant type. They clearly want a young all-star who fits the timeline of their roster. Now, I hate to say this, but why isn't Trae Young not an ideal fit for them? If an ideal fit even exists for a player like that. But fans would hate to see this next guy traded. Actually on this list is Keegan Murray. And I was shocked because he is an elite shooter and maybe the Kings' best wing defender. How good of a shooter is he? Well, only 7 players have made 12 threes in an NBA game. Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Damian Lillard, Zach LaVine, Kobe Bryant, Darnell Marshall, of course, and Keegan Murray. Dame has the record for most triples in his first 2 seasons. Yeah, Keegan's just behind him at number 2. Why would they trade that? Because if they ever want to upgrade, to bring in an elite player to complete their team, Keegan has to be in that deal. If any team is going to send their star to Sacramento, they will demand Keegan Murray back. It only makes sense. So what do the Kings need? Well, it turns out DeMar DeRozan is actually a really good fit so far, averaging over 20 points, taking a ton of free throws. Right now, they are top 10 in offense and defense, so it's too early to make big statements about them. But based on their history, they need length and defense. Sac would only deal Keegan Murray for an all-star, so I don't see that happening anytime soon. But what about Benedict Mathurin? Dude just dropped 30 points, 11 boards on the Celtics, giving them their only loss this year. Who doesn't want that guy? Maybe the Pacers? Why? Because they just made the conference finals without him. He was injured for the playoffs. And they don't need more offense. They got that covered. They want to prove last year's conference finals run was not a fluke like the Blazers or the Hawks. But right now, it looks like it because the Pacers suck early this season. Losses to the banged up Sixers and Pelicans. Tyrese Halliburton is awful so far. Whatever slump he was in back half of last year, it has continued, averaging 14 points, 7 assists, an awful 24% from deep, so they have to do something. Well, the only legit asset to trade is Ben Mathurin. Kid is a microwave scorer off the bench, like a Malik Monk. Instant offense for a team that needs it. Indy could also put 2 first-round picks in a bigger deal in 2029 and 2031. But what I think they need is a smaller deal for somebody like Dorian Finney-Smith of the Nets. He is on the trade block. Brooklyn wants a young player like Ben Mathurin. It's a great swap. But if these trades happen like at the trade deadline or in the offseason, the big question is, what team is going to blow it up? Like, what stars are going to be available for all these players to be traded? Michael Porter Jr. told ESPN, hey, if we don't win it this year, we all know they might have to break it up. Dude, you rarely hear a max player on a contender talk like that, but it is bad in Denver. And if MPJ is right, he would be gettable for sure. So would Christian Brown, their 2031 first round pick, and 3 swaps. But the other blow it up team, obviously, is the Milwaukee Bucks. And that is where it gets really interesting because, yes, obviously the big prize is Giannis Antetokounmpo, but not enough people are talking about what would happen next. Yeah, Damian Lillard would get traded. Older Brook Lopez, banged up Chris Middleton, even ideal role player Bobby Portis. But as soon as these teams fail, expect a lot of movement from the players and the teams we just mentioned. But there is one insane reason to think that the Bucks will blow it up, and people are not talking enough about this latest rumor. I put it in this video, and when you hear this, it will make perfect sense when Giannis demands out.